Oh my goodness, I am not a helpful attorney. Oh, that line just killed me. I hate biases. I hate stereotypes because that's the only reason why she's feeling that way. Oh my word. That was a knife to the heart. Like, we as human beings, we have to be better, right? We have to be better. Ugh. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Anne, and on my channel, I review foreign international content. Today, I'm back to review this fantastic show called Extraordinary Attorney Woo, who is being played by Park Yoo-bin, who is like just destroying this role. If she does not win an award, I'm gonna have to fly out to South Korea and cause a riot. Like, my word, she is fantastic. She is completely like in this role, like all in, like, I mean, she disappears where you just completely forget it's her. And you're just like feeling the character of this person who has autism, who's an attorney, who's very smart. But people, we are the worst. We are the worst. Anyway, in episode 3, we saw the case of another person who has autism. I love that they showed the different, when you're on the spectrum, it shows that some can be very, very high functioning and some maybe not as high functioning as others, meaning there's a range, right? And I so loved when she gave the history of autism and being disabled, and how in the past, like 80 years ago, they let people die, which I've heard that a lot of people in the past just did not understand mental or disability or anything like that. So they would think it was something evil and then we just let them die. They were not treated as human being in this society. So that was just like, another knife to the heart. But I am so grateful for the education and awareness. And so we saw in that case, obviously, of that character his brother, who was very smart medical student, who was studying, the best of the best, and nobody knew, but the brother was very, very depressed, suicidal, and clearly, and sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't watched episode 3, was trying to kill himself. And at the end there, when obviously they're called, is because he ends up passing away, and the brother with autism is found on top of him, hitting him, and the assumption is he's the one who killed him. And you have to keep watching. I'm not gonna give it all away in case you haven't watched, to see why the brother was involved, who was autistic and definitely much less functioning than Attorney Woe, and she has to help him. And it was interesting. At first I was like, are you assigning this case to her because she's autistic? And then it was funny because right after that she said, are you assigning this case to me because I'm autistic, right? Because you think I can understand more. And I thought it was interesting when he was like, well, no, but it doesn't hurt the fact that you can probably understand where he's coming from. And then obviously we saw at the court when that prosecutor went for her and said, if you're gonna use the defense for your client, that the reason why he did what he did is because he's autistic, so can be considered mentally unfit, then wouldn't we not say the same thing about the Attorney Woe? And I was just like, I wanted to grab him, but come through the TV and be like, what are you doing? On the other hand, he had a point. I mean, he's a lawyer. He's willing, they're allowed to bring whatever it takes to win their case. And then obviously she had self-reflection where she's like, wait, so first of all, I'm hanging out with John Ho, and his friend assumes that I'm disabled, does not see me first as an attorney. She sees me as a disabled person. By the way, I was gonna say, now it makes sense why John Ho's character is so understanding of Attorney Woe, because he volunteered. He used to volunteer in this organization for disabled people, so he can recognize I guess, a person who has some difficulties. So he's very much more patient and understanding. And then when the father obviously was like, I don't think you should represent him, just because that attorney is already looking at you as you're not fit, like mentally fit, if you will. And then it got to her when she was just like, if I'm not helpful, as an attorney to defend my person, then I'm not helpful to them. I would have to remove myself, because the judge sees me as mentally unfit, and so does the attorney. So why would I want to subject myself to that? And then I would probably end up losing the case because, which, it was not her issue. It was the biases of the attorney and the judges, okay, who are looking at her like that. Not forgetting that she is the most smartest person ever. She was a top student. She has all the accolades of anybody out there, which is the reason why, as we saw in episode 4, that the CEO of that law firm hired her. Because if it was not for autism, the law firm would have been fighting for her. I mean, she was the best of the best in school. So the biases is really what she has to fight with. And she says, as much as I am an attorney, I know between me and that guy who also had autism, this is this almost like this is the price we pay. This is what we have to bear for this disability. Almost like when we first walk in the room, the disability is what walks in the room before you know me, right? Because people are and I'm just loving that there's a show like this, and hopefully it can help all of us to just stop with the biases and the stereotypes, to see people as people first. Now, does she have a disability? Yes. Does she have challenges? Yes. At the end of it all, I would say it would be fair for us to look at the person holistically. And we've seen this, it's just not disabilities. We've seen it with race. I mean, it can go to many things. It could be religion. It could be, how you look. It can go all kinds of places. But I hope, at the end of it all, that we all learn to first get to know the person as a whole and not just the one thing, right? Oh, anyway, I was so happy how at the end, her being very smart, once again, she was able to find a solution. I'm not gonna say, in case you haven't watched, I don't do spoilers, about how she got him off, and you have to keep watching. And then episode 4 was so interesting. Those 3 brothers, and the 2 who apparently, you live in the city and your brother is in the farm, so he must be not smart because he doesn't live in the city. You've heard that, oh, your country, you don't know anything, right? And they're trying to steal the land and taking the most portions. And obviously it was her friend's father who was being tricked by her own brothers. And then obviously at the end it was like, okay, so your brother said that to you about, oh, the first son gets 50%, the second one get 30%, and then the third one gets 20%. It was crazy when their father left him the whole land. They were trying to trick him, and then they leave him there with the debt of the taxes. So really he would end up with a debt, and they just want to walk away with the land. It was so unfair. But then they had no evidence, because when they came to court, they were like, no, we didn't say that. And then they were like, then what evidence do you have that they said that? And Smarty Pants over here, who, by the way, when the dolphins and the whale shows up, it's like light bulb moment. Like, she just is like, wait a minute, then we're just gonna have to find evidence. And she found that evidence. I loved it. Meaning, if you beat up somebody who you're giving something, I guess they can take back whatever they gave you or something like that. And they had to start from square one. And I loved how those brothers had to come back and eating humble pie and deal with that. Oh, I am so loving this show. It is so good, so educational. And I'm hoping at the end of it all, our brains will be more open and more understanding, and not just judge somebody from one aspect of their life, right? Like, that broke my heart. Like, I was scared that she is gonna quit and never come back. But I'm so grateful for her boss, who was like, no, I never processed your resignation. When she sent him the case, he was like, you're gonna have to come back and do the work. You can't expect me to assign it to somebody else. Oh, love it. Just love it. And then I'm loving her relationship with John Ho. So sweet. Just so endearing. I love this show. If you want to watch something that is just wholesome, and then when you're done, just feel happy when you're done watching, Extraordinary Attorney Whoa is the show. It's just fantastic. So well done. Are you enjoying it? What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section as usual. I love to hear what you guys are thinking, but I need to see a lot of awards. This show is gonna win a lot of awards because it's good. It's gold. It is gold. It's just fantastic. I can't say it enough. Anyway, as usual, thank you so much for joining me. Join me next week when I review episode 5 and 6. And as usual, if you like my video, give me a like, subscribe. It does help to support my channel. And I'll see you next week. Deuces.